Hi folks, it's me, Ghost Critic. Well, I'm filming this on Thursday, but probably a lot of you won't see it till Friday, but it is a comic book review show. Not that many picked up again this week. I don't know what it is. I don't know whether it's just the crappy few weeks I've had lately, or if it is just the comics in general, but nothing's really exciting me at the moment. Maybe it's just the titles I'm picking up. There's just a bit of a lull, I feel. I'm trying to remain positive. I'm trying to make the best of what I've got at the moment, because you know it all comes down to the cash at the end of the day. But enough of this. Let's get on with the reviews, and I'll try and remain as positive as I can. Okay, we start with Incredible Hulk. It's issue 8, and it's the start of a new storyline called Stay Angry. And I predicted right all that time ago when this started and Banner and Hulk were separated, and we all talked about how if they were going to be joined and how it was going to happen, and I said as soon as that gamma bomb was set off by Amanda Von Doom, they were going to be merged again. In this title, it's pretty much explained, and that's what happened. Yes, in the blast, they're two kind of psyches, bodies, however you want to say, they are one again. But there is a huge twist this time. For years and years, all through the length of an Incredible Hulk run, it's always been Banner trying to keep the Hulk back. The Hulk being this, you know, this behemoth of destruction, of mindless violence, and he had to keep that anger down. Well, Banner's a bit, yeah, he's criminally insane, as the book tells us now. So instead of keeping the Hulk down, it's the Hulk's turn to keep Banner down, and the only way to do that is to stay angry, and this is where the Punisher comes in. Yes, a strange issue. We've got dogmen, literally men, you know, looking like dogs, and a man who is practically a dog. He has a dog's head, and they're running a kind of drugs business, for want of a better word, and it's somewhere where Banner really needs to be. We don't know why yet, but there are connections between this pack of dogs gang and Banner. Something about the group wanting Banner to be their chemist, to create all these drugs for them, which is why Banner's taken the Hulk all the way down to, I think it is Mexico. It was a good issue. This whole having the Hulk stay angry so Banner doesn't come back and transform back into Banner is very interesting, and I'm very intrigued where they're going to take this. The only problem I had with this issue, it's Dylan's artwork. It's been there before. He did Preacher, he's done Hellblazer, I've enjoyed his art on there, but he can't draw the Hulk. Look at the Hulk on the front of that cover. That is the Hulk. What Dylan's drawn inside is basically one of those muscle-bound gym bunnies and painted them green. It's not the Hulk. It doesn't look anything like the Hulk, and it pretty much spoiled a lot of my enjoyment of this. I hope he's not on for long. But Incredible Hulk, you know, this is my first time with reading it as in a proper run, so I'm willing to at least keep with the story. It's just a shame about the art. Wolverine and the X-Men, issue 11. Oh, I said I was going to stay positive, didn't I? This is the weakest issue by far. I've loved Wolverine and the X-Men since it started, and there's only one thing to blame for this being not very good. That banner up there. Yes, it's another Avengers versus X-Men tie-in. Maybe it's because I've just not been reading it, so I don't really know what's going on, but I found this very boring. We've got Wolverine and Hope against the Shi'ar Death Commandos, and it's an all-out battle. We get jumps from battles that are going on all over the world between Avengers and X-Men. Here we have on the cover, we've got the Red Hulk versus Iceman. It just didn't do anything for me. Avengers versus X-Men has done nothing for me. Is it finishing soon? I hope so. I know the next Wolverine and X-Men is going to be yet another tie-in to this, but the artwork was good. Bradshaw's on it. Yeah, it's Bradshaw. I like Bradshaw's artwork. But apart from that, very disappointing issue. I'm trying. It doesn't get much better in the next one. This week seems to have been the week for the two big companies to bring out annuals. Now I find this quite funny from a UK perspective. In the UK we have annuals. You know, our comic book industry, for want of a better phrase, isn't as far advanced as like the guys over in America. The comics that Britain, the UK bring out are mainly marketing devices for toys, cartoons, or they're aimed at kind of like pre-teen kids. Apart from, say, 2000 AD, that's what we've got over here. So annuals for us come out at the very end of the year. They're like a Christmas stocking filler. They're usually hardbacked and have kind of like maybe 50 or 60 pages in them, and you know, they're like a present for a kid at Christmas. In America, you Americans just bring out annuals whenever you like. And seriously, they're just like one-shots. This could have been a one-shot. It's Amazing Spider-Man annual number 39. It was okay. It passed the time. It's another botched experiment by Grady in the Horizon Labs. Only this time his experiment has erased Peter Parker from existence, and you get lots of different scenes of Peter Parker's past life, and this is what is confusing, because it's like half of it is, oh, the world seems to be a better place without Peter Parker, yet some of the flashbacks are of his past. So he goes back to his school days. He goes back to see, I can't even remember. It's forgettable. It's a forgettable issue. Yeah, he starts off by going in the future, what looks like the future, and you know, Mary Jane's got a burdening film career. She's really lifted off. Osborn has cured cancer. Flash Thompson, he's some sort of Olympic athlete, even though he's still in a wheelchair. But there's no mention of Spider-Man. And you just think, oh, well, if I hadn't been there, it looks as if things would have been alright. But then there's these time bubbles that keep throwing him back in time. He goes back to his school, sees Flash Thompson, and but he's still got his mind as if he was, you know, in our here and now. So he gives Flash Thompson a kind of piece of his mind, but the next minute he's flung ahead. And of course it seems to be like it's got to happen in pretty much every other annual. They trot out Uncle Ben again. Uncle Ben in one existence time period where Peter Parker didn't exist. He didn't get shot, he lived. And it's just a bit trite. It's just a bit nah. There are lots of different kind of artwork styles in here to show like the different time periods of Peter Parker's life, but it's not necessary to pick this up. If you were picking up an Amazing Spider-Man on your pull list, the guy probably slipped this in as well, like he did with me. I would have picked it up anyway, but I would have still been disappointed. It's not going well, is it? Let's pick it up a bit. As I said, it's not just Marvel with the annuals. DC had a couple out this week. It's a Batman annual #1. And Snyder basically retells the story, the history of Mr. Freeze. Now, I don't know a great deal about Mr. Freeze and his history, so I don't know how true or how much of what's in here is stuff that we already know. I'm pretty sure the twist at the end is definitely new. This is part of DC's new universe and reinventing some of their characters. But as I said, this is kind of Snyder retelling the history of Mr. Freeze. And it takes place just after, because right on the top here we have the Night of the Owls kind of crossover event banner there. So we know there are ties to this in the event. And there is, not a great deal. As I was going to say, this happens just after the Talons have attacked Arkham. And Mr. Freeze plans his escape. And he does get out there, and he's going to get his wife, Nora. And the story is told through a series of flashbacks, his relationship with his mother, with Bruce Wayne and Batman, and it is a really kind of entertaining read. It's not spectacular, but there are some nice little nods. Mr. Freeze's ties with the Court of Owls is nicely told there. But of course, it's the twist at the end about his wife, Nora. I don't want to spoil this if you haven't read this yet, but I don't know whether this has already been told pre the New 52, if this was already known, but this was certainly new to me. The twist that Snyder's put on this. Really great read. I did like the artwork by, let's see, James Tynion IV, Jason Fabok. Very nice art. Obviously with Mr. Freeze it's a lot of white, cold tones. Definitely a pick-up. Very well written by Snyder as always. I enjoyed it. My pick of the week has to go to another annual. It's #1 annual of Animal Man. And you know, we've been teased and taunted with this Swamp Thing Animal Man kind of meeting up crossover. Well, you kind of get it here, sort of. This takes place after Swamp Thing issue 9, and it centres on Buddy Baker's daughter, Maxine. They've just come up to the motel where they're going to hide out. But Socks needs to relieve himself. So Maxine takes him off into the woods. A nice little humorous start at the beginning of that. And then it evolves into Maxine wanting Socks to tell her a story. And being the kind of strange kind of kid that she is, she wants a story with monsters in, and she wants like a scary story. And what we have here is Jeff Lemire telling us a story about past avatars of the Swamp Thing and Animal Man, and this is where our little crossover comes in. So it's not really the crossover we're expecting, which will eventually come, but still, it was a very, very well told story. We have two characters. It was Jack Crow, who's that era's incarnation of Swamp Thing, and Jacob Mullins, who was that era's incarnation of Animal Man. And there are some beautiful nods and interests about the balance, the very precarious balance between the red, the green and the rot, and how they must all be, you know, balanced. And if one or the other, you know, kind of becomes larger than the other two, then the other two take it upon themselves to join up to readdress the balance. And you know, we've seen it in the Animal Man story arcs, that at the moment it's the rot who is trying to take dominance, to take power. So we have the green and the red joining up, or will eventually join up, to readdress the balance. But there has been times, as is indicated in this title, that it's not always been the way. Sometimes the green has got too wild, the red has got too bloody, and so the other two have had to come in and saw the dominant force down. So I loved this. The artwork isn't Paquette, it's Timothy Green II and Joseph Silva, but it's still very nice. You still get that kind of intriguing, imaginative paneling with, you know, the trees, the trunks, the branches making up your panels, rather than just always the straight boxes. But it was a really good read, and gives a more history to the Animal Man and the Swamp Thing universe, and their ties with each other, their links that they've had through Avatar, through previous incarnations. So my pick of the week is Animal Man. Just thought I'd quickly put these in at the end. I'd say it was a haul. It wasn't really a haul, it's only 2 books. The comic book store that I go to, I think it's the end of their tax year, so anything that's left on their shelves, I don't quite get this, they have to pay tax on. So they were having a big sale, which I didn't really know much about and didn't really have much time to have a good look, but I ended up picking up Justice League of America Year 1, written by Mark Waid. So I've started that, really good. £2.50. It should have been £15. Wow! And then I got this on a whim. I've always been kind of interested because there's a lot of talk about this. Dave Sims' Cerebus. It's the first 25 issues. So looking forward to delving into that. It's all, you know, it's kind of black and white, but doesn't bother me in the slightest. It looks like I'll be spending a lot of time reading that. It's kind of like over 500 pages long, so looking forward to that. What else do I have to say? Really, the last few weeks for me have been a bit scary. It's work stuff, and I'm really sorry. I've got a ton of messages to get through on YouTube, which I will get to. I'm really sorry I haven't replied very much to anybody's comments, but I've had a pretty scary time at work and it's made me sick. I've tried to keep my videos going for you guys because I've had a phenomenal flux of subscribers, and I appreciate every single one of you that are subscribing to my channel and watching. So I really just wanted to keep things going and keeping things flowing. I haven't been at my best. It's all over now. It's all put behind me, and I'm feeling much better, and I hope my reviews will show that, even though this one's been quite depressing. I'm sorry. Anyway, that's enough from me. Up there is a subscribe button if it's your first time. Hit it. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. And put a comment down below. I will do my best to reply. As for me, I'm out of here and don't look up my nose.